Afternoon. We'd like to welcome everyone to our Illinois Department of Human Service Documentation, Case Notes, and Individual Service Plans webinar. We want to thank you all for logging on and being attentive to this presentation. What I'm going to do, my name is Aaron Elders. I'm the Northern Illinois Coordinator for SHPA. And what I'm going to do is introduce all of our presenters today. We have Brenda Hanbury, who is the Bureau Chief for the Department of Human Services, Health
Bureau of Homeless and Supportive Housing.
Bureau of Homeless Services and Supportive Housing. Thank you, Lori. We also have Mary Sue Cox, who is the assistant of that department. We also have our Executive Director, Lori Baker. We have Lindsay Bishop, Corporation for Supportive Housing, and myself again. So again, welcome to our webinar, and look forward to everyone getting some very good information on documentation, case notes, and how to write a proper service plan.
All right, we know documentation isn't an exciting subject, and I did want to mention that I have made a mistake and not realized that the webinar will only accept 101 participants, and we have more than 200 people that are registered for this webinar. So we're trying to send out emails to everyone that isn't able to log on right now to be able to log on at 2 p.m. so we can just kind of do a repeat. So hopefully that will go out, and we are also recording this, so we'll send out a link to this so that people can see this online. So we apologize for the inconvenience, and we'll try to take care of this. We are on the second slide now, where we're talking about this training series that the Supportive Housing Providers Association has been working on with the Department of Human Services, Bureau of Homeless Services, and Supportive Housing. And basically, this is the first step in a three-step process for each subject that we're going to be doing a training on. So our first subject is documentation. So the first thing that we will do is have this webinar that will have the basic overview of each important piece and why it's important to document. Then we will have in-person trainings. You'll remember we did the Case Management 101 in the late summer and early fall of last year, 2010, where we did 2.5-hour trainings around the state, and we will be doing that. We are working on getting those dates set up for June, late May and June, so there'll be 3 sessions in Chicago. There will be a session at Starved Rock at LaSalle, Peru, and there will be a session in Springfield and a session in Mount Vernon. We are nailing down the dates for that, and we'll send that out along with the link to this recorded webinar. Then the last thing that we'll do is we'll convert these trainings, both the information from the webinar here and information that will be provided at the 2.5-hour trainings, into online training modules, which you'll be able to access at any time online and do self-directed learning. So we're pretty excited about the format and feel like there's a lot of ways for people to be able to do training. Our in-person training, especially in documentation here, will focus on practicing the skills that we're trying to teach you. So we'll have a lot of interactive things for you to do during those 2.5-hour trainings. And we have several other subjects that we're working on developing that we'll do the same format with. The introductory webinar that talks about the kind of overall global picture of the subject, in-person training, and then the online training modules that will be placed online after the event have been held, trainings around the state. I think that we are really encouraging people to be able to access all of these trainings and be able to be greatly involved with them. We're trying to make them as easy for you to get to and as cheap for you to get to as possible, and also allow you to be able to connect new employees as you hire people and have turnover, so that people can be aware of what their expectations are within this program, so that people are actually doing what they need to do so that, you know, that when they come out and monitor and do all the things that they need to do, you guys all turn out well. Lindsay?
Great. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the presentation. And you know, why? So the question is why is documentation so important? Case managers often hear the term documentation and cringe at the thought of more paperwork. Most of us kind of didn't go into this role expecting to complete so much paperwork, and it seems that it takes away time from working with clients. However frustrating that it may be, it is imperative for the case manager and client relationship. It can be helpful in many ways for both parties. Throughout this presentation, we will cover documentation standards, what you should remember about documentation, and what things need to be documented and maintained in the client file. We will also highlight ways that this documentation can be helpful to both the case manager and client relationship. You know, the intent is not to take away time from the client and case manager, but to to allow the time that you spend with clients more productive and stay on track. And appropriate documentation will actually help your relationship as well. Specifically, it can help in planning for your meeting. So if you have a meeting with a client coming up, it may be helpful to review your most recent case notes from the last time that you met with that client, or the short-term and long-term individual goals that you have with that client to help you guide your next meeting. We have so many different clients, you know, case ratio or client ratios are increasing, and we know that there's a lot of crises, and so it's helpful to have that information documented for the next time that you meet with your client. Lastly, funders of a program want to see success within your program, and how can you best demonstrate success? Documentation. You can't show the work that you're doing as assisting clients unless you document it. Most funders identify upfront specific deliverables that they want tracked, and your documentation should align with those deliverables.